Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to yet another match of golf with your friends, featuring the main hosts, myself, Barack, Joe, and Ben.
George is coming back as a guest since he was here last time, but we're here with yet another new addition to the President's Central cast.
Oh, wow, I wonder who it is.
I'm not sure where I'm at right now.
Please welcome the one and only Jordan Peterson.
Thank you for having me, everyone. It's a pleasure to play a simple game of golf with Ben since we're both a part of Daily Wire, but I haven't met so many presidents before, especially at the same time.
That's all right. We usually get along well enough and only occasionally have friendship-breaking arguments about our politics or mental status or a variety of other things.
I suppose I can handle this well enough. Let's start the game and actually see what kind of dynamic everyone has together.
We can teach you how to play the game since I don't think you're experienced with it. At least not this online game, I should say.
You can pretty much just copy me and you'll do fine enough.
I should let you know that Donald gets a bit of an ego when playing this game, or rather more of an ego than he already had.
It's usually not backed up by his actual gameplay. A good example is him telling you to copy him while missing the ramp to the other side where the hole is located.
Hey, it's only been 1 minute and I'm already getting roasted because I missed one shot like it's really going to cause me to fall apart.
He's right, guys. There's no need to get on him about missing a shot this early. Besides, I don't want Jordan to think we have an unusual dynamic here or anything like that.
I'll need more time to fully assess all of you, though I'm sure it will be a very interesting combination of political figures getting together while also doing something mundane like this. I look forward to listening to everybody here while also learning how to play an online game of golf with your friends.
I didn't understand a lot of those words you said, but that's fine since it's bidening time for me.
I'm sorry, Joe, I'm having a hard time understanding something. You just claimed that it is in fact bidening time, though I'm not quite sure what that means. You didn't really get much closer to the goal, and yet you said it almost like you were being very confident with your shot. I'm failing to see this importance of what bidening time really is.
Wow, that had a lot more time put into Joe's bidening time than anyone else has ever put in before. I didn't realize someone so smart would be joining us here today.
There's a good reason why he's such an asset at the Daily Wire. He's one of the most accomplished and intelligent figures of our time, and I'm glad he agreed to join.
Thank you, Ben. I appreciate the kind words, but I don't want to take up too much of the attention. I'd rather watch for the time being to see how long it takes for Joe and Donald to make it and if they'll get anywhere near first place.
By the looks of it, they appear to be struggling to get the results they aim for, which is making their chances of winning much less than they would like to start with.
Yeah, we get it. Just because we're falling behind now doesn't mean we'll stay that way. I mean, Joe probably will, but definitely not me.
Wait till someone say my name, I don't know where I'm at right now.
You're at the golf course now, Joe, and by the looks of it, you're also in nearly last place at the end of the first hole. This is the second to last map we're playing, so it wouldn't be good to start falling apart now.
Hey, Jordan, sometimes when one of us is in the lead, we tend to do more risky shots in an attempt to stay ahead. So since we're tied for first, I'll try getting a good angle of the spinning device here.
So based on where I saw the hole, it just looks like you've made yourself at a worse but still not impossible angle to get it in soon. I suppose that is the trade-off of doing a risky strategy, which is sometimes not getting what you'd like.
And it looks like Ben just made an equally bad shot, giving himself no advantage whatsoever.
Thanks for rubbing it in, George. Much appreciated. Would you like to tell us the color of the sky next while you're at it?
Actually, I just noticed something rather interesting. It appears as though Joe is playing under the screen name of P. Boogle. I have no idea what that is, or if it's somehow relevant since everyone else is just using their normal names.
Oh yeah, hole in one for me.
That is the name Proto-Shiboogle. Honestly, I'm not sure why it's censored as it isn't a swear word, but nobody really brings it up aside from right now. I can't change it anymore, so I just have to keep it as it is.
That didn't really answer what I was getting at, but I don't think there is an answer that would truly explain a weird name like that. Also, thank you, Barack, for hitting my ball in for yet another hole in one with an assist this time.
For sure, that wasn't what I meant to have happen, but I can still make it in soon enough.
Meanwhile, the real golfing master makes yet another stellar shot and will have it in one more turn at a maximum.
Donald, that shot was not any better than any others you or everyone else has already done, which means you realistically are not a golfing master, especially with your track record of not winning.
That was pretty harsh, Ben, and yet very accurate to Donald's level of gameplay he's been showing us.
Don't forget, George, I have won more of these games than you have.
Hey, you've played 11 games here, and this is only my second, so it's not really a fair comparison.
And even with that much more experience, Donald is in dead last while George is nearly first place with so much less experience.
Hey, that actually did remind me of something we wanted to bring up. In case the viewers didn't see the community post, this is going to be the second to last map we'll be playing through. We will be going back to the first map to play 18 holes just with myself, Ben, Donald, and Joe as the final video in this series, and then we can move on to different games after that. We realize it might be a bit unfair to Jordan that he's only present in one map, so we'll give some more details on his further involvement with the channel later on today.
It's sad to see it go, but I'm glad I was part of it even for just a little while.
In that case, I'll need to try even harder to get out of last place and into my rightful throne at the top of the leaderboard.
Now I've got the most wins so far, and I don't intend to let anybody take that from me.
Actually, Joe, I have been meaning to take the figurative crown of most wins in the golfing matches for a while, and I don't know if that's possible considering our respective number of wins. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try my hardest this time.
Well, you say that, and you knocked yourself right back near the beginning, making way less progress than you intended.
I'll admit this didn't go as I planned it, but even with my mess up, Donald somehow managed to do what I did, even worse, cementing himself as the last place failure he tends to be in these matches.
Oh, sure, just deflect your failures onto me. You know what? I am subscribing to Daily Wire Plus right now just because I want to watch Jordan's content and because Ben won't receive any money due to you accidentally giving it away to Joe and also losing $6 billion in the process.
Wait a minute, what's this about money and Ben giving the website to Joe? I didn't hear about any of this.
So I was making use of Joe falling asleep back in our Final Fantasy IV playthrough and got him to buy Daily Wire Plus for $6 billion, but then I got too confident in one of our golf matches and had to give him back the money while he kept the rights to Daily Wire Plus. That was not one of my better business decisions.
Ben, I usually try to have some sort of understanding for why people do the things they do, but there is no way I can defend that. And now that you're in second to last place, it seems as though these golfing matches seem to give you this heightened sense of ego that isn't backed up by actual skill within the game.
Okay, guys, we didn't come here to dunk on our life mistakes. We're just here to play a simple game of golf. It seems these rotating ramps will let us get down to the lower parts of the map more easily, though I didn't seem to get it.
Yeah, Barack, we all saw that you didn't make it, but that's all right. You seem to be near another hole that will get you below, even if it takes a little longer. You're not that far behind first, so you're still in it.
Hey, you did well, Jordan. You too, Donald. I'm sure you might get out of last place one of these days if you keep doing moves like that.
Thanks, Joe. I'd like to say the same for you, but you hit it a little too strong, though. If you made it, you could have gotten in an even better position than anyone else had.
Based on your interactions, I've noticed some interesting details that I'm not sure others have noticed. Donald, your attitude seems to drastically change from being fiercely wanting to win, as you likely have in past games. Despite the odds, though, once you have been cemented in last, your mood actually starts to be uplifted to where you will actually be a lot happier and reciprocating of positive feedback from other players.
I think you're taking this a little too seriously. I mean, this isn't a therapy session or anything. I just like golf.
Perhaps you are correct, although I like to think there's a lot more of a reason for why people are the way they are, and I like analyzing how they react to things regardless of how expressive or minuscule that reaction may be. For George, I have noticed you haven't spoken as much in comparison to everyone else. Based on what I understand of your involvement with the channel, you are only present in one playthrough that isn't completed yet by the time this game is being played, and yet your attitude is fairly positive without being confrontational towards others. I believe you have some sort of reservation towards talking a lot due to you perhaps not feeling like you're really one of the main group due to your limited amounts of appearances.
Wow, I really didn't know how to express what I felt, but yeah, I don't always feel like I am a mainstay character since I haven't shown up all that much. I'm glad to be in the group at all, but I don't always think I have a lot to say since I'm just so new to these Final Fantasies and golfing games.
And I don't mean any of that as necessarily a flaw to your character, as if you are content with the part you play. I could never tell you that you should change who you are. Since you seem to be the newcomer to the games you're involved with, it is a great new perspective to have someone who is able to question a lot of things that others might not see as often since they're so used to it.
Jordan, I do appreciate your very thorough look into all of us, but we were kind of here to actually play a game of golf today.
Hey, there's no reason why we can't do both at the same time. Plus, I think you just want to keep the focus away from the fact you have a really bad angle for your shot and you're worried about running out of time.
No, that is definitely not the reason why, Donald, nobody asked someone who's in last place like you to give his less than useless input.
Hey, that's a little harsh. I'm way behind you all. And I'm still listening to Donald sometimes, but he's right that you have a bad angle.
Oh wow, Joe, you finally decided to speak for the first time in a while. Are you finally awake enough to play the game today?
What's gotten into you, Barack? I'm not sure why you're acting like this all of a sudden.
I'd have to take a guess and say that Jordan is beating pretty much everyone in this game of golf, so he's showing both gameplay and intellectual superiority to him.
That's great. Now Out of Bounds Ben is making up assumptions about me because he knows he can't beat an 81-year-old in a game of golf, so he has to target someone.
Barack, I think it's time I analyze you for a moment since you're being like this. While Joe struggles to make his way to the end of the map, I realize you seem to try mediating things unless you find yourself in the presence of a figure who has a deeper understanding of the people around you than you do. It's not unusual to dislike this in someone, but the way to properly express that isn't through lashing out, but rather by trying to obtain an equal or greater understanding of someone who is your superior in the game of golf and intelligence. That being me, of course.
As if any of that is actually correct. George is the only person here who doesn't seem to have an ego about something, since Joe seems to think he's going to win most of the games, but I know I'm smarter than him, so it evens out. Ben is even worse about this, but his meltdowns are really funny when he starts to completely fall apart. Donald is really obvious since he has to plaster his name on every failure he has. Trump Stakes, Trump University, Trump Tower, he even signed the Bible as if he's on the same level of importance.
Oh man, I really fell behind here, but at least I'll make it in before time runs out.
That's great, Joe, but Barack, there are some important things we need to mention. You do raise valid points, but Joe seems to have won the most maps of everyone here so far, so it's not unreasonable to think he's going to win based on the successes he's already had. In regards to the ego, you made a big point of that does make sense to a degree, but I do think I should ask you this. What did you decide to name your healthcare plan while you were president?
Well, that's an easy one. I named it Obamacare. Okay, I'm starting to see your point now.
That's right. Even though these flaws may be more prevalent and obvious in others, it is important to understand that all of us have these issues to resolve within ourselves, but at different degrees. Blaming these for your or others' failings won't do anything except have us harbor more resentment to the parts of ourselves that we need to improve on.
Hey guys, I don't know how to follow up something like that, but I'm glad to be tied for first place now.
That's great, George. You're doing well, and you've given me a lot to think about, Jordan. I would like to apologize for getting a bit heated earlier with my reaction to having this change in our dynamic.
You're good, Barack, but dang it, I missed my shot pretty bad.
Yeah, and mine wasn't good either, but I'm glad there's more to the course than just going straight forward.
Well, avoiding these floating bars in the sky seems pretty important, so I'm just glad going slower here and a slightly different angle gets me across without issue.
That sounds right, George, but I'm at a better angle since I can just shoot myself all the way over with no other balls blocking the way.
Oh yeah, you're not quite getting in there yet, but you should be in there in one more shot, and maybe you'll even beat me or Jordan on the leaderboard.
Don't get ahead of yourself, George. He may be getting ahead of you, but certainly not me right now.
Nah, I'm pretty sure I can get past both of you soon enough. It's just a matter of time. I'll just have to play it safe while waiting for you both to mess up, and then you'll see me succeed.
Ben, you better remember that I'm ahead of you on the leaderboard, and me making it in right now is only going to cement that further.
Wow, that was a great shot. It looks like there's some actual competition happening here.
All right, I need to focus up, otherwise there's no way I'm getting first place.
That wasn't a bad shot, but at the same time, you're going to have to take a different direction in order to get to the hole since you're too far to the right side.
You may be right, but you're also going too far to the right, though. Maybe you can get a really good angle and hit it to the end.
That might also just be wishful thinking, but I don't know. I did want to bring something up from earlier. I kind of wonder how it would be in these golfing games if I acted a lot differently and how the viewers would react.
I'm not sure what you mean by that, George.
So instead of being someone who isn't exactly sure of his place in the group and doesn't talk as much, I could be way more assertive with my statements around everyone. Like I could have catchphrases like calling myself Goated George and bow down, respect me while I'm constantly making goated shots.
I don't know, George. Maybe there's another version of you that would say things like that, but I don't think that would fit this group so much.
Okay, it's time for me to make it across and win now.
I don't know, that could have been a lot worse, but I don't think it went quite the way you were hoping for. Maybe you can still get it in a couple more shots.
And just like that, I'm getting in and at least didn't fall behind that much.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way of looking at it, but you'll still need to find a way to get ahead soon.
All right, guys, it's Bidening time.
Wow, Joe, that Bidening time of yours really paid off, didn't it?
It's not like your shot was that much better now, was it?
Now, it may look like I messed up, but I'm actually lining myself up for an incredible trick shot that allows me to make it in a really cool way.
Okay, keep telling yourself that.
I will. Just watch this.
Okay, I'll admit that was a really good shot, though I'm still not sure how you could have known that would happen.
It's just my golfer's instinct.
Despite Donald's alleged golfer's instinct, he is still in 5th place with little chance of recovery, but if he keeps making shots like that, then maybe he can still win.
Hey, speaking of winning, that reminds me of a story from my past, and I know how much you all love hearing those.
Oh, great, another one of Joe's stories that makes me less happy to be alive.
Wait a minute, Donald, this could prove valuable to my understanding of Joe and his connection with you all. Joe, if you would please tell us your story.
So there I was with my good friends Uglier Joe Harold and Luke Skywalker. We were all traveling through space in the Nostromo, which was this big ship. We went to this planet where everyone was investigating when suddenly Luke got his face attacked by a parasite or something. It was really weird since it didn't seem like it was hurting him, but at the same time we didn't want it on him. We got him back to the ship and removed whatever the thing was on his head. Everything was fine until Luke had this really bad stomach ache, which was actually caused by a small alien that came out of his stomach. It was really weird since I don't think that's supposed to happen with people. I don't know what happened to Harold and Uglier Joe, but I tried to fight the alien, which was difficult because his blood was made of acid, so I couldn't really fight him that well without injuring myself or the ship. After a while, other people on the ship were getting killed, but I can't remember their names, though I eventually escaped unharmed and lived to see other days. I think I adopted a girl after that, but she bit the dust off screen, so nothing much came of that. The end.
Okay, Jordan, you heard the story. I hope you're happy now since I know I'm not.
To be honest with you, Joe, I have absolutely no idea what to make of that story. The details you mentioned were just a shortened retelling of the plot for Alien, but with different character names, including one from Star Wars. In addition, you just added a few small details for Aliens and Alien 3 that weren't even a part of the first movie. That did not and will not happen in the real world, so this could not have happened to you. I truly could not imagine a way other people could believe this is something you have experienced in your lifetime.
I don't know why all of you keep denying that my stories happened, but one day I'll prove all of these events really happened in my past.
We were all so wrapped up in Joe's story that didn't happen to him that the entire hole went by without us making any mention of it.
It looks like Joe and myself got one shot ahead, but otherwise no change on the scores, though you and Jordan are still tied for first with me, only one behind.
I'm kind of thinking at this point that I'm not going to be winning. I'm like 7 behind, and I don't think I'll be catching up that much in the span of 4 holes. Doesn't mean I won't keep trying, though.
There you go, Donald finding a way to stay confident enough to keep trying, but without the sense of being overly sure of a sudden victory.
Hey guys, I went to the water down here, but I'm not really sure if that was the right path. Do any of you have any ideas?
Actually, yes, it appears as though I can actually make it up here by using the water to bounce back up. I'm not sure if this is really any better yet.
Hey, while we're all trying to get through the water section, I think someone mentioned our later plans with Jordan in our later videos.
Oh yes, we'll make this quick as to not take away from the game as much as we already have. Jordan is going to be joining us on the next new playthrough that we have been mentioning for quite a long time. We should be starting that at the beginning of June, and we think it will be a great experience for everyone once we share it, but not everyone here is even aware of what's being played yet.
I can't wait to learn what's coming out soon, as I'm always excited to start a new playthrough.
I don't think I'll be involved in it, though I look forward to see what's coming up in the following months.
That's all right. I'm sure you'll still be a part of this channel, so we don't want you to worry about feeling like you're not an integral part of the group.
No, don't worry about it. I am satisfied with the level of involvement I've had here.
Oh, okay, good. We didn't want you to feel like you've had any sort of lesser role here just because you've had less appearances so far.
Hey, did anyone ever figure out if the water path or the upper path was the best one to take? I didn't see any real advantage so far.
I don't think so, but I know Donald's strategy of hitting the structure from the floor didn't work well.
It was less of a strategy and more of just a mistake, but I think I'll get better next time.
Ah man, I almost made it in 2 shots. I guess the water path wasn't so bad after all.
I guess we'll find out if the upper path is better once Barack decides to make his shot.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
That worked perfectly except for that part that didn't, which was all of it.
Wait a minute. What does that even mean? I've never heard someone say that before.
So basically, Barack started saying that back in the desert map a long time ago, and then people in the comments seem to like it, so he keeps bringing back in nearly every map we do. Honestly, I think it's just his way of saying that something didn't work, but he words it in a way that doesn't really make sense until you think about it for a while.
That is very interesting. Do all of you have your own catchphrases too, or is it only something he does?
Well, Barack has that, and Joe has its biding time. I think Ben uses the facts and logic line a lot in different ways, but that started way before everyone started gaming together, so I don't think that counts. I don't have one for myself, and I don't think Donald does either, unless you count his golfing instinct, which only really happens during the golf games.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. I don't have any real commentary on any of that. I just wanted to see if everyone had their own catchphrase.
I was thinking about it, but I'm not sure what mine would be exactly, as I don't know if I really need one, but yeah, it would be good to have a recognizable phrase.
You probably don't need one at all, though. Maybe you can try one of those lines from Rick and Morty. I've been watching it with my younger family members, and they always laugh whenever Rick says wubba lubba dub dub, and I'm Pickle Rick.
I am absolutely not making my catchphrase as something like wubba lubba dub 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 or anything even remotely similar to that.
I think you added an extra dub in there.
Oh well, then I would like to formally apologize to those who felt wronged by me not getting the line correct. I hope everyone here can forgive me and move forward, even with my terrible mistakes soiling my otherwise perfect record as a human being.
Don't worry, Donald. It's understandable how a mistake like that can be made.
I wasn't serious, Joe. I don't care about messing up the line.
Oh no, the scoreboard showed I fell behind, and now Jordan is a little bit ahead of me now.
And I was hoping to catch up, but apparently I'm not now since this hill isn't that easy to get up onto.
Don't worry, Ben. I'll show you how easy it is to get up here if you ever play this map again in your spare time.
Oh, okay, now if we all just copy exactly how Barack did the shot, then that pretty much means everyone else except him gets a hole in one. Not that it really mattered as he was still in 4th place already, but still. And by him, I meant Ben, not Barack.
Well, George, you won't be making it any further up on the scores this hole, but if you aim correctly, you can at least not fall behind, which is still an acceptable outcome.
Yeah, that is a good way of looking at it, and even if I don't win, I'm still doing way better than I did on the first map I played last time.
Okay, it's time for me to make it into a hole in one now.
That is definitely a more interesting way of getting a hole in one, but not one that looks very successful.
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean for that to happen. I don't think I was going to win this course anyway, but still it would have been nice to not fall behind even further than I already have.
That's okay at this point. You and I don't have much of a chance at getting first unless everyone messes up worse than they've ever done before, though I doubt that's going to happen.
Okay, I think I got this, and at least I didn't fall behind all that much. I still have a chance, even if it is minuscule.
You're probably not still winning, though, regardless.
All right, guys, you all know what's happening. It's biding time. Oh no, that wasn't what I meant.
Oh wow, it actually decided to stop.
Okay, for real, now it's biding time.
All right, good. I thought you were going to run out of time before actually getting it in. It seems aside from Ben and Joe falling a bit behind, nothing else of interest really happened there.
At this point, it really is just between the 3 main people on top, since everyone else isn't really close enough to catch up in 2 more holes.
And based on the fact that this hole is very straightforward, there isn't much room to catch up, unless that swinging part in the middle knocks a lot of people off course really often.
I'm pretty sure timing it like this will let me go right through and finally get myself a hole in one that I wanted last time.
Good job, Joe, and when I'm up, which seems to be now, I'm pretty confident I'll also be getting it in, which seems to be the case.
This seems like just a really easy hole, all things considered, so I doubt this is going to be any real challenge.
You better not get too confident or you're going to be falling behind at some point soon.
I'm going to be fine, but unfortunately my golfer's instincts tell me you will be falling behind in just a moment.
Oh no, that means I'm going from second place to third or maybe even further if I don't pull it together soon.
That's all right, George. Remember, you've still played a great game, and even if you don't win, nobody can dispute your level of skill you've shown despite a few slip-ups.
Yeah, you should still be known here as a good golfer. The only thing that would suggest otherwise is if you had an absolute disaster like I did on the volcano map's ending. I know jokes have been made about it, but I've accepted how overconfident I can be at points.
Hey, there is something I've noticed about our match today. We really haven't been arguing all that much. It's been the case where we've been all dead set on winning wherever we can, but this time it's really not been our focus as much as figuring out how we all react to each other. I think having Jordan's presence and influence has allowed us to finally calm down a little bit. Granted, it's very possible that all of this will be completely gone in our golfing finale coming up soon, but it's nice that we've been able to have a relatively calm game of golf.
I think it's also just the lower stakes since we know the next map is going to be the last, then it's natural to be looking forward to that. Maybe it's also that we're only doing 10 holes today when it's less than we typically do. All the arguing and insults can be pretty entertaining, but for once it's nice to have a bit of change and possibly even personal growth. I think everyone has something they can take away from this.
What takeaway from who now? Sorry guys, I just woke up from one of those mid-game naps that I do every once in a while.
And then of course there's Joe, who probably hasn't learned anything for the past 130 years of his life, or however old he is now.
Hey, so I wasn't really paying attention earlier. What are we supposed to do in this map? I think we all just fell down.
So it looks like you can go left or right, but then there's those things coming from the floor to avoid, and then once you go in the middle section, you're pretty much in the hole.
Man, I missed, and this could not be a worse time than to start messing up now when I'm really close to winning.
Okay, now this is my chance to get ahead of Jordan.
Well, with a shot like that, I don't think Jordan has anything to worry about right now. It seems as though whatever these are from the floor are easier to hit than we previously thought.
Yeah, I'm the golfing master, Donald Trump himself, and even I'm having a hard time getting around these things.
Don't worry guys, it's your old pal Joe here to show you how to get around these things. You know, this reminds me of a time where Uglier Joe and I were going to the store to buy some.
Sorry, Joe, we've already hit the one Joe story per video limit, and we can't go further than that. We put in that rule because we were afraid Donald was going to leave if he had to hear more than one every time we play something together.
I insisted we put the limit at having no Joe stories at all, but I had to compromise. At this point, though, I'm starting to get more used to it after a while.
If you're getting used to it, then does that mean you want to be hearing more of them?
No, I definitely do not want to hear any more of them than I have to.
Back on the topic of golf, since Jordan is in and nobody that got it in before him managed to beat his score, then we already know he has won this game.
Good job, Jordan. It was great having you on, and you played this game very well. I think we'll still let everyone else finish up even if there's no suspense on the winner.
That sounds good, and thank you, George. I appreciate you all letting me play through this and experience a game of golf in an unusual format. I look forward to my further involvement with the next playthrough that is happening on this channel, which is happening in early June, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, and I look forward to both that and the golf finale. It will be bittersweet since objectively most of the channel views come from these videos, but we want to move on while still not having these videos get too repetitive or uninteresting.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and it's nice to have a definitive endpoint to aim for at the same time.
Maybe I can stop missing and finally get this ball in the hole. We appreciate all the support we've been getting on each series.
I guess this is ending soon, but there's still more to come for the channel.
As always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more.
And peace out, people.